All right. Hi, everybody. This is another episode of To All the Men I've Tolerated Before with your hosts, Natalie Katona.
And Dina Alkatib.
This is episode 4. If you are newly joining us, To All the Men I've Tolerated Before is a podcast where Dina and I write thank you letters. They're definitely not love letters, but they are thank you letters to men that we have encountered in the past or sometimes the present, depending on your timeline. And, we're just walking through what they meant to us in the moment, what they mean to us now, what they taught us, what we unlearned from them, and how we became these two beautiful, strong women on this journey, even though we choose to have relationships with men.
Which we continue to reconsider on a very regular basis, I feel like.
On a daily, hourly, second by second, really. Which I think.
Wait, hold on. Because I saw a TikTok, this is sort of relevant. I saw a TikTok where this woman had her first sexual experience with another woman.
Okay.
And she said, like, that when she was with a man, she always had to, like, close her eyes and, like, concentrate really hard to have an orgasm. Mm-hmm. But with the woman, she didn't. And I was like, everybody in the comments was like, oh, shit. Because I have to do that. I do that all the time when I'm with a guy. I'm like, all right, hold on. If I want to reach the climax, I gotta, like, really focus here, like, close my eyes and just, like, will it to happen, basically.
I think I've only climaxed with one guy. He wasn't even a guy who, like, mattered to me.
Oh, no.
I know!
Oh, no!
Ew. It's just that
Damn,
it's so much easier when I do it myself. That's the story of my life, of my Capricorn existence.
That's
also, look
true.
at friends. Oh, I've named our fans.
Oh, you named our fans? Wait, look at you assuming we're going to have fans, first of all.
I'm manifesting them. If you name them, they will come.
They will come.
My favorite murder has the murderinos. Self-helpless has the helpsters. How come has the companions, spelled CUMPANIONS. It's my favorite one. And I am all of those. I'm a murderino, companion, helpster. But I've decided that our fans should be called the tolerators.
Ooh.
Isn't it powerful? It's
kind of like Terminators.
Right.
We're on the same wavelength. Oh my god!
So, tolerators, Let me paint you a portrait. I have a cat against my better judgment. Her name is Penelope, and she is currently full on sitting on my paint by number. What if I had painted on that today? Look at her.
She doesn't even care. Yeah, I see her. She does not care.
She's like, hi, Auntie Dina.
Hi. I call her Monopoly. Because my favorite thing is to go up to Natalie's cat Penelope and be like, hi, Monopoly. Are you the worst board game ever? Yes, you are. You're the worst board game.
I call her Penners. And then I named my island on Animal Crossing Penner Island. And I'm like, that just looks like I'm trying to make a penis pun. And I was just trying to dedicate my fucking island to my cat.
I think that's sweet.
Thank you.
That's adorable.
I'm going to take a picture of this for the tolerators.
Yeah, they definitely need to see Monopoly.
Penelope. With all my laundry hanging up in the background.
It's fine. It's 2020.
It's 2020.
All right. So what are we talking about today?
Episode 4. Great segue. So, as of right now, we've talked about first crushes, first kisses. We got really gross and talked about our virginities and how we lost them.
Yes.
And today we're going to dedicate the podcast to talking about we're doing a self check-in on where we're at today when it comes to dating. How are we feeling about it? I'm going to talk a little bit, but not too much, about my former relationship because next week we are going to talk about dating in the time of COVID, the title of my next romance novel. And so we're just going to talk about where we're at because I don't know about you, Dina, but it's bleak.
It's not looking good right now. I'm going to be honest with you. It's really not looking good.
And I'm sure we'll have some laughs, but if you're listening to this episode and you're like, damn, they used to be more chipper. Yeah, we did.
We did. You're right. You're not wrong. You're right.
And then 2020 happened.
It really did. It put a damper in everything.
So, where we're at now. Where is Natalie at?
Where are you at?
Okay. First off, I would like to talk about my last relationship because I've been reflecting on it a lot because I've been watching a lot of Married at First Sight.
What is that? Wait, what's Married at First Sight?
Okay, so there are 9 seasons of Married at First Sight on Hulu, and I've watched them all. And it is this TV show, it's a reality TV show. Basically, a team of experts comes to your town. They have like a pastor / marriage counselor. They have like a therapist. They have a woman whose specialty is like sex therapy. She's like a sex therapist. And they come to your city and hundreds of people come into a convention center or whatever. You have to take like the SAT. You have to take like this giant standardized test. Then they pair people down and they do like 50 interviews, and then they pick 4 women and 4 men, and you have to, if you're a woman, you're married. It's very heteronormative. It's on Lifetime. And if you're a man, you have to marry a woman, but you don't meet, like the experts just tell you, like they show up to your job or your house and they're like, hey, you're engaged. And then you have to tell your parents and like your friends, like, hey, in 2 weeks I'm getting married. And they're like, I'm confused. You weren't dating anyone.
What? This sounds like the worst idea.
Okay, but sometimes, usually 1 out of 4 couples is successful. Sometimes it's 2. But without fail, and what has made me reflect on my previous relationship is you go on a honeymoon after your wedding. So you like get to the altar, you meet this stranger, you have a wedding, you have a reception, they make you have a brunch with your families, and then you go to a second location and you have this like honeymoon with a stranger. And that's when it gets dicey. And that's when one of these women realizes that she married the man who isn't actually ready for it. And he's like cold and like she's always trying to get to know him. And he's like, why are you asking me questions? And she's like, maybe we should bone. And he's like, why would I want to have sex with you?
Oh.
And for an entire season, you have to watch this woman be in an 8-week marriage with a man who's just not into it. And she's so lonely. And that's, I know. And that's how it ties into my previous relationship. My last relationship, I was so lonely. I would like sit on on the couch with this guy. We would have weekly dinners, and it would just be like, I would never get any feedback that he was actually like into what we were doing. And then like getting to know him was really hard. Anytime, because I love icebreakers. Like I have icebreakers for days. But like anytime I would share an authentic piece of myself with him and then like ask him about it, I'd always get like, I don't remember. Or like, that's something that's not important to me. Or why are you asking?
That feels like he's just not that into you situation.
Yes.
Or into it situation.
Right. And we will go into it more in depth next week. Like it is basically my entire episode for next week. But basically, it was 2 months of me knowing he wasn't into me, but also being in quarantine mode where I'm like, I can't deal with the fact that you're not into me. Like, here it is. Here I am. Take it or leave it.
Right.
Like, so my biggest takeaway from that last relationship and just being so lonely and watching these women on Married at First Sight just be like so lonely and just like try so hard to still be present in this relationship that they found themselves in. I like what makes me the saddest is that like that last guy got to date the most authentic and best version of me. I'm like 4 years into my counseling and working on like being in recovery for a lot of my codependency behaviors. I'm also like year 2 or 3 in of my spiritual journey where I've really like connected with meditation and yoga and rituals. Did you do the midnight ritual last night? Did you write your 7
I straight forgot. I straight forgot, and as soon as you started saying the midnight, I was like, oh no, I forgot. Oh,
one of my banishments last night was like, into this next year, I banish this idea of I will just stick to a relationship to prove myself that I can do it, even though he's not fulfilling me mentally, emotionally, physically. Like it has to be all 3 at this point.
Right.
It has to be all 3. And I also like manifested last night as I was calling upon the Pleiades sisters. I did this whole ceremony. Penelope was there. She's a really great familiar.
Wow. Love this mood, this atmosphere that you built. That's great.
Yes. I didn't light a candle. Usually I light a candle, but like it was midnight and I was just like, we're just going to do this from bed instead of my meditation cushion. But I also manifested, I was like, this year, I'm going to have the greatest romance of my life to date. Because I really feel like at this point, that's what I'm missing from my relationships. It's not like a relationship out of necessity or sadness or like not being happy about where I'm at currently. It is literally like I've set myself up for a relationship with it all, with romance, with mental stimulation, with great sex. And like, I'm ready for a relationship with a man who is an adult, who has worked on themselves. I want a recommendation letter from your therapist.
Woo!
Woo! Like, I literally want your therapist to sit down and be all like, this is why I okay him to enter a relationship with someone. Because a lot of my partners, all of my partners, just carry into the relationship with me. And I use the word partner. I didn't even say man. I wasn't like, I'm ready for the best romance I've ever had in my life with a man. No. It's 2020. We're open to all. All love is equal. I use the term partner. You're not my boyfriend. We're not in 5th grade. Gender has become this huge spectrum. I've read a guide to gender. Like, I'm not labeling things anymore. You are a partner. So, like, all of my partners enter in my relationships with, like, all of this hurt and, like, things that I feel prepared to work through with you because I've done the work. But if you're starting from a baseline of just ignoring the problem or distracting from the problem and you haven't faced that yourself, then everything I'm bringing to the table, all of my self-awareness, all of my reflecting and refocusing, all of my like, oh my gosh, she takes 20 minutes a day to just sit in quietness and like manifest and meditate what she wants out of her life because she knows what she wants out of her life. It puts my partners on like the defense. Like it just hackles them up. And
right.
I'm tired of having a resentment reaction because I'm working on being healthy. I won't even say that I am healthy. I'm just on the journey to be healthy.
Right. And that's what matters, honestly, is that the person is taking the time to work on themselves, recognize the problem, trying to fix the problem, whether it be through on your own or through therapy or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
But if they're not trying for themselves, then you're not equals at that point. Right. You're not on the same standing or, on the same page.
I had one of my friends give me really great clarity of what I thought my biggest takeaway from my relationships was. I used to think that my biggest takeaway was everyone is on different parts of their path or journey, and I can walk my journey and still be okay where you are. And she went, sis. And her auntie told her when she was like having frustrations with dating, she was like, look, this is what it is. You're on your path. The optimal, like the best case scenario is you're walking parallel paths. They're right next to you. You're holding hands. They can be a step ahead of you. A step ahead of you isn't that much of a gap. Or they can be a step behind you. Because again, not that much of a gap. That's kind of the circle we can walk in. It can't be, well, they're a mile behind me. And I'm trying to make my recovery, my journey, my emotional and mental safety mesh with that.
Right. I think that's so true. Because I think, and you'll see whenever I start talking about where I'm at, is I can't be with someone who isn't even trying to move forward at all. And if you're so far behind, I don't have the time to sit there and hold your hand through it. You have to do that on your own. It's personal growth. It's personal recovery, and you take ownership of yourself and your health and your happiness. And when people don't do that, they're just pulling you down. I feel like they're not walking with you, like you said, next to you. They're just either standing still, maybe not even walking at all. They're not even doing anything. So
they're sitting.
Right. That's detrimental, I think, to a relationship.
And you're not in a wagon. I'm not pulling you along.
No, not here for it.
You're not coasting. Absolutely not. Do you know that I don't even have like sex dreams anymore? Do you know what I dream about when I'm like having what would be? I dream about cuddling. Like that's how much I crave. Aww. I know. That's how.
Do you need me to come over and cuddle you, girl? Maybe. I'll come cuddle you.
Maybe.
Like, if you need a cuddle, I'll come over.
Maybe when we pick our Disney Channel original movie for non-Thanksgiving on Nat and Dina's Single Ladies Day. Y'all, we ain't
Yeah.
celebrating Thanksgiving. Nope.
Oh, yeah. No, we're not. First of
Dina,
all, Ohio is, like, wrecked with COVID right now.
right.
Like, it's actually really bad.
And
So, a lot of people aren't doing Thanksgiving.
right. And my sister and my mother are school teachers, and my sister's school in Indiana is in the red. So she's not even teaching in person. And my mom's school is probably heading that way in Illinois. So, like, both of my family units were like, please do not come and visit. Except
Right.
for my father, who can't accept reality. He's like, why aren't you coming? And I'm like, the world is on fire. It's literally a danger to see you. I'm like doing a
Oh, my
TikTok
God.
dance trying to explain it to him.
Guys, eating is not that, as important as being safe. So, everybody can just chill.
Do you know what a man that I tolerate texted me yesterday? Because he's also
Ooh,
having
I'm
the
ready.
same frustrations with his family, where like his sister caved and decided that she would go to their parents' house with Thanksgiving, and now he has to be the sibling that's like, no. He told me, he was like, if we all actually loved and cared about one another, we would see one another on days where we weren't assigned to see one another. Whew. Hoo, hoo, hoo. Okay. Okay.
Oh, shit!
Shit.
Fucking called out!
Called out.
I mean, it's true, though. It's so true.
If we actually cared about one another, we wouldn't make it homework to see one another. Oh, damn.
Damn, I feel called out, actually. Fuck.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Oh, hey.
Okay.
All right, so you're ready for something.
Yes.
You're ready.
But,
do you think 2021 is the year for you?
So here's another block for me when it comes to the dating and the romance thing. Number one, I've been frustrated with online dating since I've started it. I hate swipe culture. I hate dating a guy but never knowing where we stand because he could be shopping for other partners. Maybe I'm shopping for other partners because I'm anxious and I don't know, like, no one ever wants to label anything or like actually say like, this is what we're doing.
Right.
And then if you do, because you're the emotionally mature adult, they're like, what are you doing? Like, we were just like straight vibing. And so at this point, I want more emotional intimacy than physical intimacy. But there's also a cloud hanging over my head because, and I don't think we've gone into this before, but I am currently unemployed. Like, I am a former theater worker, tolerators, a little look into my past. And as we know, theater ain't thriving during a pandemic. And please don't get it twisted. I'm not an actress. Like, my credits, right? You've all heard me saying clearly I was the understudy for Alpha, but no, I was an admin for a theater association in Dayton, and I ran a series of shows for them. I was an admin. I did a lot of office work. I don't want to get into it because I'm still in the grieving process, because what ended up happening with this job is like I was a teacher for 6 years, and around year 3, I realized I hated it. Or I guess I hated like the environments that were offered to me to teach in. And when I got the theater job, like I was passionate. I got to do a lot of things that related to my hobbies. I got to meet a lot of beautiful people. If you were one of those beautiful people who came to Dayton on a Broadway tour and you worked with me, my department, and you're listening, like, please know that I love and support you. And I hope that you're doing okay too, because if it's rough for me, I can't imagine how rough it is for you. But with the unemployment comes this like secondhand shame where it's like, how are you like, it's hard enough talking about my unemployment with people who already love and are invested in me and are my friends. But then you, like, go out to an online date or you have a Skype call because it's a pandemic with an online date. And, like, they're like, so what do you do for a living? And you're like, honey. And then you have to go into it all again. And then that, like, it's a whole other grieving process again for me where it's like, well, I had the best job in the world. And then, like, a pandemic hit. And now my industry is dying around me and I don't know how to feel about it. So I just kind of tutor kids off of care.com. And they're like, oh. And while I'm not the only person who's going through this, like, it just feels like I have to have all of my shit together to date and to, like, enter a relationship because I'm craving this type of adult relationship so much. So to enter into these dating scenarios unemployed and not knowing what the future holds for me and just, like, in the middle of a grieving process or whatever, it doesn't feel like the time. So, like, I'm on pause, but I'm also like, but maybe I'll meet someone. But it's like, how do you meet someone? It's a pandemic. No one's going anywhere.
Yeah,
so, like,
it's definitely rough.
I've started swiping again, but we all know how that goes. You, like, swipe, you talk for a couple of hours on a Monday night, and then you never hear from them again. And then if you listen to our last episode, then they like enter a relationship with Dina, and she has to text you about it.
Oh God! Oh God! Ooh! Yikes!
So that, like,
that didn't happen.
So that's where I am. I'm ready, but I also have, like, this fantasy where, like, when I see myself as a adult in a relationship, I don't fantasize about weddings anymore or, like, even like, we're just, like, two emotionally mature adults who still very much have our own lives and their parallel lives, and they do meet and they intersect and whatever. The marriage thing isn't really my bag anymore. I don't see myself as a married person. I don't see myself as a mother. Like, we've talked a lot during my unemployment and as I've taken these tutoring jobs, how, like, I'll get to a point where I just feel like I couldn't make this my everyday, like, dealing with a child one-on-one and having them be the only person I'm talking to, and, like, their emotional stability relying on me, my emotional stability relying on what they do every day. Like, I'm not at a healthy mind space with that. I have this fantasy that when my sister starts having kids, I'm just, like, the eccentric aunt.
Oh my gosh, that's, like, my dream.
My dream,
honestly,
I just want
to be the cool aunt.
Yeah. I just want to take, like, I want to take Penelope to, like, Europe on long stays in Europe and then come back and, like, hint to all my little nieces and nephews about, like, all of the lovers I took overseas. And then be like, is my aunt talking about fucking? And then me just, like, really confused, and me being like, hell yeah. And I come in with, like, my bohemian peasant skirts and, like, all of my jewels. And then eventually, like, all my lady friends who really thought that they wanted, like, a typical suburban lifestyle. Y'all, we just waving and vibing. We got our hands.
We're vibing over here to the stream.
I just want to draw all of my strong women friends who thought, man, I just really want the suburban lifestyle. And I'm like, no. What if we lived in the woods?
What if we lived in the woods? With a cow?
With a cow. What if we went to the coast? What if we were literally just the ants from Practical Magic. I want to be Stockard Channing in Practical Magic. I just want to be an aunt who's making lotions and soaps and handing it to like
Oh
the
my
horned up women
god.
in the town. And I just want to like say really cryptic things to children where they're like, is she a witch? Is she the neighborhood witch? And I am. I
Yes.
absolutely am.
Oh, please, universe, if you were listening, make that
Yeah.
happen.
Please,
Make it
I just want to
happen.
live in the woods with really great Wi-Fi or next to like a body of water and collect sea glass and make art with it. Just
Yes. I love it.
uh, thank you.
I
Where are you
guys.
at in
Where am
2020?
I at? Oh my god. Alright, so hi guys.
Tell the people what you want.
I yeah, so I am 28 years old. I got out of a long-term serious relationship about a year ago, almost exactly a year ago actually. Isn't that crazy? It's
Wow,
been a
that
year.
is crazy.
I was engaged actually to be married to a man. And it was a relationship. I think I was with him because my previous relationships were all pretty incompatible or unhealthy. And so I think subconsciously I looked for a safe option. And so I met a guy that I had been friends with for so long. Like, so long we had been friends. And he was sweet. Didn't have that many life experiences. It really was his first relationship, even though we were the same age. And I wasn't happy. I think I forced myself to stay because he was sweet and everybody, thought he was nice and all that stuff. And I was like, well, why am I not happy? He's sweet and he's nice. Why am I not happy? So I ended the relationship, obviously, before the wedding happened, about, I don't know, 5 months or so before the wedding. So it was rough. It was a really rough time. It was a tough breakup. Again, it's been a year. And since then, I've been living alone, this is really the first time that I've lived alone.
How do you like living alone?
I kind of love it because there's no expectations from anybody. It's my own space, so it's exactly the way that I want it to be. And if it's not the way that I want it to be, then it's my fault because it's my space. So it is hard in COVID because, not seeing people and living alone is, it's tough not even being able to go out. But before COVID, I was going out a lot. I was seeing my friends more and I felt like I was more myself again.
Mm-hmm.
And, so this newfound independence has been really refreshing and has forced me to rely on myself and self-reflect, which is beautiful
I
for
think
me.
that every woman should take the opportunity to live by herself, especially if you're a person who wants to start a family one day. I think you learn so much about yourself, what you can handle, what you can't handle, what your actual priorities are because you're living by yourself.
Right. I agree. I've learned so much about myself and what I want from myself and what I think I'll want from somebody, my next relationship. So during this year, basically, of singleness, I've had some casual relationships, but I'm kind of over it. I'm over online dating in
Mm-hmm.
general. And I mean, we'll talk more about that in the next episode, but I envision my next relationship to be someone that I just, comes into my life for whatever
Yeah.
reason. That would be a nice way to meet people because I've never really been in a relationship with someone that I've just have found and connected with, you know, sort of spontaneously, but, you know, probably doing a mutual hobby or something, I'm sure, or some kind of thing.
Yeah.
I have a lot to work on myself. You know, I have a lot of trauma and stuff from my past, and it's really what I'm trying to focus on is myself. And I feel like I'm not gonna be emotionally available to people. Emotionally unavailable.
Emotionally unavailable. Whereas Natalie has all the emotions she'd love to give to people.
Exactly. So I feel like I need to work on myself more to be able to bring the best version of me to my next relationship, because I think that I just don't love myself. Mm-hmm. I don't think I love myself at all. Like, I'll go on these apps, you know, Tinder, Bumble, whatever, and I think I actively look for people that I know that I look for people that I think I deserve. Like, I think I deserve less than what I think I should, if that makes sense.
That's a trap of my entire existence, where it's like, well, you're the one who hung around, or like, I tricked you to be here because I'm not desirable or lovable or any of this.
Right.
And I banished that talk for myself too. Like, I was like, I banished this idea that I'm not special for what I actually want.
Right. Exactly. And so every time I go on these dating apps, I'll see a person, not even just a guy. I'll see a person that has a good career, and seemingly, you know, looks on paper, again, I don't know this person, but on paper, this person looks like they have their life together. And I will actively swipe against that person because I think they're better than me. They're athletic and fit, and therefore they would want nothing to do with me. I'm not good enough for them. They won't think I'm pretty. I'm too fat. I'm too this. So they won't want me. So I will literally lower the bar for myself because I think I don't deserve someone who's put together. I apparently my brain thinks that I deserve someone who's damaged and doesn't work on themselves or isn't doing anything with their lives.
Do you feel like when you were younger that you were set up to believe that you deserve the best for yourself and that you should walk every day loving yourself? Was that No.
Not at all. No. I was never good enough, ever.
Correct.
For growing up. It was like, you can do better. If you're getting B's, why are you getting B's? You need to be getting A's in every class. Like, why are you majoring in this? You should be a doctor. You know what I mean? Like, it was always, why aren't you doing better? Instead of, you're fine the way you are, basically.
There are so many moments in my childhood, and I've written them all down from my memoirs, where my sister and I talk often about how we were the best kids in the world, but always told that we were the worst. Like, none of us, like, I personally didn't take part in any recreational drug use or drinking. And if I drank, it was very low key as a teenager. I wasn't having sex. I wasn't breaking curfew. I was a kid who was too nervous to sneak into the R-rated movie because I grew up with that, you're never good enough, but because you're never good enough, that means like our family as a unit is reflected on poorly, and that just like hangs on your existence.
That is toxic. Toxic, the house.
And then when you grow up with a sister, there's these weird, like, we've talked about competition against women. And when you grow up with a sibling that like I'm very extroverted. My sister is very introverted. Like she'd love to have a medical bracelet that says, I have social anxiety. Please find my sister for when we're out shopping small. Because when you're shopping small, like people love to talk to you. And I love talking to
Yeah.
people. I love gathering stories, but my sister hates it. So she just like wants a card to hand people that's like, this is
Oh
what my
my
sister
God.
looks like. Please go talk to her.
That's hilarious.
And like we've gotten to a point where we can joke about it, but when we were kids, it felt like such a comparison.
Yeah.
And I remember this stark like memory of like it's the middle of the night. I'm online checking my college grades and I've finally done it. I made the stupid dean's list after years of being told that I've never lived up to my potential. And a parent, a man that I've tolerated before, came down to like get a midnight glass of iced tea or something. And I told him, I was like, I finally done it. I made the dean's list. And I was met with that with, don't tell your sister. I don't want to deal with like the fallout of you bragging about that.
What?
And the thing is like, it's such a memory set in stone on my psyche, and everyone tells me that I'm lying about it.
Why
But
does
like,
everybody tell you? Like your family tells you
yeah.
you're lying about it?
But
Oh my
like,
God.
who makes that up?
Yeah.
And so, and that's a huge thing too, is when I was younger, anytime I had a feeling, that feeling was a lie. It was me being dramatic. It was me being attention seeking. Like, I learned all of these unhealthy ways to deal with whatever love I could get, because anytime I asked for a need being met, I was a selfish person. And no one likes selfish
That's
people.
awful.
So you adapt.
So, yeah, that's my goal, is to self-love.
Yeah.
Is to really love myself, learn to love myself so that I can go into my next relationship happy and bring my best self. And I think as far as what I'm looking for from a partner, there's a few things that have been common denominators of that have really been red flags, and one of the major reasons that these relationships failed was lack of communication. People who have just gone through life and haven't learned how to communicate their feelings and their emotions. And therefore, when they're presented with a problem in a relationship, they don't speak, or they clam up and they internalize all of their emotions, their negative emotions, even their good emotions, sometimes the happy emotions, and they don't express that. And that is so dangerous, so detrimental to relationships. And it's so bad for my own mental health to interact with someone that I have to, probably I'm gonna live with this person, and I can't even speak with them about the way I'm feeling.
My last relationship, I would get negative feedback. I don't want to call it yelling because it never even escalated that to that point, but I would get like all of this resentment and frustration and passive aggressiveness about things that had happened 2 weeks ago.
Yup. I can't deal with that.
No, I was like, you're just simmering in all of this like hatred and loathing for me. And I'm just here watching a movie, and now this is coming at me.
Yeah, exactly. And that will ruin relationships. Over time, it just gets so much worse. And I just want to be able to openly talk with my partner, the good, the bad, the in-between, the anything, and just talk it out. Because honestly, most disagreements that I have with someone, or if I did something to hurt someone, but they don't let me know, I'm never going to know, probably. Like, I'm never going to know that I accidentally did something that caused you to feel something negative. And I would like to know those things so that we can talk it out and then move past it, instead of hold it in and resent.
I think one of the greatest things that I learned from a former friend, from a former man that I've tolerated, and we really just like lost touch, is like, you are your own advocate. So I'm not saying that I'm a perfect human being who will not frustrate you, who will not put you in a situation where you're uncomfortable. But if you don't pump the brakes in that situation and go, hey, I need a harder boundary here, or hey, like we really need to talk about this because I think we differ on opinions or life views or whatever. My brain, because I live in a world where anxiety and depression are right at my fingertips, my brain has to go on autopilot where it's like, unless you're giving me feedback, everything is fine. And I force myself to live in that mind space because the opposite of that mind space is me going back to being an 8-year-old, being like, who did I upset today? Who did I make mad? Why am I terrible? Let's think about all of the terrible things that I've ever done in my entire life and all of the people who may or may not be upset with me. So, like, give me feedback in the moment or the next day.
Right.
Don't simmer in your hatred.
Right. So I can't stand that. It's really, I'm again 28 years old. If I'm expected to communicate like an adult, then I want my partner to be able to do it too. And I have this little mantra in my head. I'm not expecting you to be like a perfect person because I'm not a perfect person, but I do expect you to work as hard on yourself as I am working on myself. If you're not working on yourself, then you're again, it's back to that you're a mile behind me kind of a thing. And I can't, that's not going to work. So that's the biggest thing is the communication. The second thing is that I want to find a person that has their own life. I can't be the center of someone's life. I can't be everything. I definitely, when I'm in a relationship, I love hanging out with that person and I love doing things with that person, but they also have to have a job or a goal that they're working towards, hobbies that they enjoy, friends, their own set of friends that they hang out with and that they can talk to, outside of me being their friend. And it's, I get people who want to, that are kind of maybe introverted and stay inside and I've dated gamers my whole life. And so I've dated guys that game all day long and that's all they do. And I can't do that anymore. I need someone that has a life and has goals and that is working on themselves and doing self-care and all of these things. Because if I'm your world, I'm going to get sick of you immediately. I don't think there is one person out there in the world that I will not get sick of.
Right.
And if I'm your whole world, then I'm going to get sick of you like immediately all the time.
When I finally got to the point where I realized that I had to stop looking for relationships that were going to be my end all be all. And like, I was everything to you and you were everything to me. And we were just like in this tornado of need. I started telling people, I'm like, here's the thing. I really feel like I have a lot of non-luck with men because men have been taught that a woman should need and rely on you. And I don't need you, but I want you. Like, I think we need to change our vocabulary of how we talk about relationships. I don't need you. I want you. And what a positive vocabulary change. It's like, out of everything in the world that I could have at my fingertips, swiping included on these 8 apps I have on my phone, I want you. And I used to use this analogy where it's like, I don't need you to be the foundation of my house. I've built my house. I've got a foundation. I got a bedroom. I got a kitchen. I got a bathroom. I got a living room. I want you to be my sunroom. I want you to be that fun addition to my house because I did all this work. I want you to be my game room.
Yes.
I want you to be the pool in the backyard. You get to be the cherry on top of my life sundae.
That's what I'm looking for. That's it right there, honestly.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I'm ready right now. Like I said, I want to work on myself and love myself. But my God, if I find a man that can freaking, or if I find a person,
a partner
that can communicate and that has their own life, I'm going to mount that person and never leave. I'm claiming my territory. I'm going to get up on it and ain't nobody going to get me off. One!
That's right.
It's my mountain.
That's right. I'm gonna tie you up in that sunroom.
You think I'm joking? I'm gonna grab that person and be like, you cannot leave.
You can't. Go. I found you. You're the unicorn.
It's fine.
You're the unicorn. I had a friend tell me on a trip in Kentucky, I was wearing my unicorn sweatshirt, and he's like, Natalie, she is the unicorn. She's unattainable by mere mortals. And I was like, that's fucking right.
It's true, man.
You gotta be,
and there's nothing wrong with that.
No, you gotta be your own higher being. I've got an inner goddess. I tune into her every day of the week. We connect. We communicate. Like, yes. I had an idea this morning while I was doing a manifestation meditation about visualizing your future, and then you write down the ideas you had. I want to do a children's series about Penelope being my familiar. I want to write books about Penelope being my familiar in this magical journey that I'm on.
I love that. Love that.
Mostly because I'm worried that she's going to die, and then she can't ever die because she's in a book.
Oh, God. Damn, that got dark.
Well, from a dark place came a beautiful notion.
Love that.
All right, manifestations.
What's your, manifestations, yes.
All right. So I think my largest takeaway, and thank you to the last fool I was in a relationship, to all the fools that I've been in relationships with, because without you, I wouldn't be so filled with this awareness of who I am and what I want. And now I'm finally at this place where settling is not an option. And I did it because I started writing down after every person who left my life. Okay, what did I like about them? Why did I keep them around? But what do I want in the next one? Because I truly believe that when you write it down, you make it true. Like, it settles into your body. And then I read it out loud so the universe can hear me. And then for my manifestation, I hope to draw more potential partners to me who are on the same page or on where they are with their emotional intelligence, their growth and healing, and their awareness of their identity.
Love that.
Thank you.
For me, I think I've been given this opportunity to find my self-worth and my love for myself, and I want to know truly that I deserve more, and that I deserve someone who is equal with me and can walk with me through life. So I hope that I find that I can eventually love myself enough to find someone that will be my partner in life, and we can talk, and we can communicate well, and really thrive together, come together and thrive. So that's what I hope for.
Thriving and vibing.
Thriving and vibing, y'all.
Because it can happen. I think we have so many people. I know that I am truly filled with so many people like you and all of the other people in my life where it's like, you're not the reason I thrive, but you help me thrive.
Right.
Like, you're all part of the garden that is my soul.
Right. Like you're tending your garden, but flowers like pop up.
Girl, and I'm telling you, I'm so proud of you for like being like, nah, I gotta love myself because no one tells you that that's the mindset you have to start with before you enter friendships, before you enter relationships, before you have kids. You gotta start. So my biggest another takeaway that I hope everyone walks away with from this episode is like, tend your garden, tend your soul garden. Or like use any imagery. Is it a kitten? Feed your soul kitten.
Right. You don't need a gardener to do it for you. You gotta do it yourself.
You're the gardener.
Yes, be the gardener.
Tap into your inner goddess.
Yes, don't be emotionally unavailable.
Right. I had an ex ask me, what goddess are you referring to? And I said all of them because they all live within me. All right.
I love that.
Plugs.
Yes.
I've been doing a really bad job and it's like podcasting 101. But I have not been asking the tolerators to like and subscribe to our podcast because my dumb ass subscribes to every podcast that I'm going to try out because I don't know how else to get the episodes to bank onto my phone. I do that too.
Is that not what you're supposed to do? I do that.
No, some people pick and choose. Some people pick and choose what they subscribe to. So please like and subscribe on any and every platform that you're listening to us all. And leave us a 5-star review. I'm manifesting those 5-star reviews. And a comment about what you're enjoying. And I want to start highlighting great reviews during the plugs or in the intro. Ooh, I want to shout out all of those people, all of those partners in the podcast who are wishing us well, because the more positivity in my universe, the better. For sure. Our Instagram is at Men I've Tolerated Pod. And there are going to be some fun polls coming up. There are going to be some audience moments. We want to hear your stories. I hope we got a flood of Dina as a troll priestess. Fan art.
You're obsessed, ma'am.
I'm obsessed.
You're obsessed.
I'm obsessed. I love fan art. I feel like it's the greatest. Same. I feel like it's the greatest form of expression. And the greatest form. Honestly. Like, what a gift to be like, you know what I can do? Draw. And then you draw us because we inspired you.
Honestly, people taking the time because that takes time. That's what's surprising is like, you have to sit down and like create a thing. And that's really beautiful, honestly.
It's It's beautiful. And then you can follow me at Natalie K124. Remember that just because I don't know how to market it yet doesn't mean that I won't read your tarot. I have a price structure in my head. So if you really just want a check-in with me and you want some help figuring out your next step or a question that just won't let you be and you need an outside source, like let me tap into my power to help you out. Just send me a DM and we'll work something out. But that's an idea that's percolating. And then we have an email. I set us up with a Gmail. So email us questions about your relationships or anything that you've heard us talk about and you think that we would give some special insight or advice on at Men I've Tolerated Before. I've has no punctuation. So it's the word men and then IVE, the word tolerated before at gmail.com. We will pick some questions that I refuse to claim that I'm an expert in anything. Please remember.
Oh, yeah. If you are expecting, like, professional advice, that's not
us. But if you need a laugh or you just need, like, I've reached out to people on Facebook through different fan pages just to be like, I just need someone who doesn't know me and my patterns to tell me I'm in a bad situation.
Right. If you want our opinions, or if you just want to share your story too, it doesn't even have to be a question. If you just want to share your stories about one of the topics, like, please send them our way. I'd love to read stuff like that. So
yes. All right, your plugs.
Yeah. So my Instagram is Miss Caboose, MS.Caboose, CABOOSE. So you can follow me on there. I also have links to my Twitch on my Instagram. So if you are a gamer or you just want to watch me stream some stuff, I've actually found some women positive games that are they sound so cool. I love small indie games. And so I found a couple that I think this fan base might be interested in, and that I think are actually just beautiful games. Yeah. I love small games that are created with beautiful art. So
is that witchy game that you sent me on TikTok, is that one that I can purchase already?
I think so. I'll have to go check it again. Okay. But yeah, I saw that game and I was like, ooh, it's a witch game. Natalie would love this. So
yes,
I hope to stream like very cool games like that soon.
If you want to know anything about games that you do on the computer, that's not my realm. I just play The Sims. And when I say I play The Sims, I just reenact old Charmed episodes on Sims Magic. I'm playing like Sims 3 because that's the one I have Sims Magic on. Or Baldur's Gate. Like, if you want to take it all the way back and play Baldur's Gate.
Dang.
But Dina knows everything computer-based.
That's giving me a lot of credit.
Well, and I love
comparatively.
And I love board games, except for I buy board games based on the art.
Oh, I do that too. Do people? Are we not supposed to? Because I love that.
So here's the thing. I think you're supposed to buy board games based on, like, do I think that, like, is it a strategy game? Is it a story game? And I just go, is it pretty? I buy more. I impulse buy more games at Gen Con because they'll have it out in a display, and I'm like, look at those colors. I got Werewolf Legacy because they're like, you keep a journal as you play, and I was like, I fucking love journaling.
Ooh, that does sound fun.
So yes, so I love board games. Dina loves PC. Is it PC games? What's the terminology?
I love all games. I have all the consoles, so I'm just a gamer. I grew up that way. That's the way I've been my whole life. I don't know anything different.
Yes. And that's why we're having Single Ladies Board Game Day on formerly known as Thanksgiving.
Yes. The holiday that we do not like calling Thanksgiving.
We don't like it. Because of everything that happened on that day.
Yeah, it's kind of fucked up. But anyway, that's not the point. The point is, thanks for joining us today, guys. And we will see you guys next week.
Thank you for being along for the roller coaster of tangents and for helping us be the people that we are today, tomorrow, and for all of our future lives.
Here.
Tap into your inner power and keep manifesting.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Bye, everybody.
Bye.